welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger. Daily market news and analysis. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share, so other people can spam that like button. All right, let's get into it, y'all. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at $91,117.52. It is January 12th, 2026. We've had a pretty wild day today, really. You know, when we kind of zoom in, check out what's under the hood. We were pumping up this morning, and the market open. We got as high as 92,400, and then at market open we had a pretty big crash all the way down to $90,000, and then we came all the way back up, and right now on the 15-minute we're just chilling on top of the 200. But when we look on the 5-hour chart, what we can see is, like, this is big in my opinion. This is a very big deal, in my opinion, because this entire time, all the way back since September, Bitcoin has been in the most bearish posture. The 200 on top of the 100, on top of the 50, on top of the 20. And we've been battling with this in a complete downtrend the entire time. And we've talked a lot about this as the selling climax with the high amounts of volume that came in over here. But this was a downtrend the entire time. You have one big push up to the 200 rejection. And then finally, the first time in forever that we have broken above the 200 moving average and then back tested it as support now. This is the first time that this has happened in the same exact posture since over here back in April. You can see when we lost the 200, it was a complete downtrend the entire time. Rejection. Finally, big selling climax up to the 200 here. You can see big rejection. Same thing that happened right here. Selling climax up to the 200, big rejection. Back up above the 200, back testing it as support. Back up above the 200, back testing it as support. And what you can see, where you see, like, this is the bearish posture: 200 on top of 100, on top of 20, on top of 50, on top of 20. And then what you start to see is when you break above the 200, the 20 crosses all of them. Then you get the 50, and then before we even break out, before you get the last cross, Bitcoin actually broke out. So what do we see when we zoom in on the posture? After the same exact thing, flipping from bearish to bullish, you can see the red has crossed all of them, the yellow has crossed all of them, and even the light blue has crossed all of them. The only thing that needs to happen now to get back in the most bullish posture is for the red to get back on top of the yellow, which that could happen tomorrow. But this is basically the most bullish posture that Bitcoin has been in since back in April. And this is a big deal. This is a very big deal, in my opinion. So be keeping an eye on that. Really, I just want to see this continue to gruel its way out. We've talked a lot about different structures of bottoming. The basic one is this one right here. You get your selling climax, secondary test, and a spring. That's the most basic one. Sometimes you just get an LPS. And then we've talked about with Ethereum, like Ethereum's a good example of a big stark correction down, selling climax, and then you just never go lower again. We'll show that real quick. That's basically literally what happened with Ethereum back in 2022 with its bottoming structure. Over here, you had a huge markdown correction, selling climax, and then that was it. It just stayed bullish for the entire time. And same thing, you can kind of see the same pattern happening here. Selling climax, you come up and test the 200, big rejection, you break above it. Same thing. So let me go over here actually back in 2022 and see, like, when did this actually flip bullish. Yeah, pretty much over here back in January of 2023. That's when it flipped bullish. Um, and it kind of flirted with that, but this was the last time. So this is a big deal for Bitcoin. This is the one example that I like to point to of like, hey, is there ever a time when you just go to a selling climax and then you never go lower? Ethereum gives us that same example. So we will see how that likes to play out. The Dow Jones put in a new high today. The S&P put in a new high today. Silver put in a new high today. The Russell put in a new high today. Everything is breaking out all at the same time. The big one to me is the Russell. We talked a lot about this. We said by about the 15th, we should be expecting a new all-time high if this is going to continue to follow the fractal. And that's a very, very, very big deal because this fractal is from over here, from the breakout. And it wasn't until we got into distribution that things started heating up for cryptocurrency. So how it goes is precious metals go into the Russell. The Russell is breaking out right now. And when we look at gold, we've been talking a lot about this. I've said it from the start. I said I called the selling climax of gold, and I said we will most likely get a UTAD even up to as high as $4,700. Looks like that's exactly what we're doing. But look at this. This is insane. This is a major, major, major bearish divergence on gold. You can see price going higher, RSI going lower. That is a major, major, major bearish divergence that is happening on the big time frame, on the daily time frame. That is happening. It's also happening on the 5-hour, but it's definitely happening on the daily time frame, and that is a massive, massive, massive deal for gold. So I think that gold to me is already topped, and it's just working on the distribution, which is pretty common to get a UT to go higher, or even a UTAD would probably be about 4,700. But you can see the steam is being lost, and we're starting to see the same thing take place in silver. You see the big buying climax over here was at $50, and you can see now price is going higher on even on the daily. You see the big peak here. Price is rising as the RSI is going lower. It's a little bit more clear on the 5-hour chart. You can see this. Price is here. Price goes higher, RSI is lower. Price goes higher, RSI is lower. That is a major bearish divergence that is taking place. Now, I don't expect gold or silver to be a meme coin and behave that way. I just expect typical behavior from Wyckoff distribution. This is the wrong thing. I expect typical behavior out of Wyckoff distribution. I don't expect a blow off top like a pin drop or anything like that. I expect top chopping like so. And that's really all we need. And what we're going to start to see is what we're seeing. The S&P is breaking out, new all-time high today, and then the Russell is literally in price discovery. This to me is undeniable evidence that we are following this candle for candle, fractal for fractal, trading day for trading day. So this is a big deal that no one is talking about. And how it went last time and how it went in 2017 was gold goes first, it tops out, then you see rotation into stocks, into the Russell. Russell goes into price discovery, then you see rotation into crypto. We are extremely, extremely, extremely pessimistic, in my opinion. Are we live on YouTube? I want to make sure we're live on YouTube here. I am live. Okay, good. All right. So that is pretty much the update for the market. We'll get into your guys' questions, comments, and concerns. A lot of the same story, but still playing itself out. So let's see what you guys... top 2028. Everyone's talking about the Russell now. Bro, I've been talking about the Russell nonstop. Everyone's talking about it because it's going in price discovery. Like, I had this fractal laid out here since probably, I've been talking about the Russell since like 2:30. When it was at 2:30. All right. I got 7.1. Solnick contract address. By the way, Solnick put in a higher high. What's your opinion on Zeta? I don't really have an opinion on Zeta. Good. I'm here. Front and center, boss. Oh, captain, my captain. The Russell needs to stop playing so crypto can go to work. Yeah, that's the big deal. Like, we need to go into real deal price discovery. I think it's undeniable. You know, it's already undeniable, but like, we're going to start to feel the effects here pretty soon. Like, if we're going to continue to follow this fractal, 315 is going to be my price discovery target. That's the 1618. And then we'll start to see some chop, and then that's when things are going to go. Now, the last time from all-time high to the buying climax, when we look at, we'll just look at the total three. The market did wake up, you know, like it was more so Bitcoin though. We'll look at the total three and others during this same time here. But yeah, this is the all-time high I have circled right here. So from the all-time high until the buying climax, if I zoom in on it so you can kind of really see. So this is the all-time high on the Russell that I have circled in purple in 2021. And then the buying climax was over here. There was a significant move that took place, and like everyone is definitely going to be pumped about that. Like that was a 2x. Like you're going to feel great about that, especially, you know, what we've been feeling. But again, it wasn't really until this, the distribution of the Russell, you can see is literally the whole run, right? So from the buying climax, you can see them scrolling together until the very, very top was the very, very top of the market. Like that was the whole run. So we got to get into our buying climax. We'll feel it, right? We'll feel some gains for sure from in the breakout move, right? So what I'm calling for is like this right here. We're going to feel some gains in the crypto. We'll definitely feel some gains. Like last time it did a 200%. Like we're going to feel something for sure, but it's not going to be until this that things are going to get wild. Bitcoin did more of the bigger gains during the time in the last two times. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so that was the entire run. Let's look at others as well. You know, like what did others do from the same time? Kind of the same story. Like when you zoom in and really look at it and really investigate what's going on under the hood here, you have the big date here, which is the all-time high, which we are at right now. You can see like to others, which is everything outside the top 10, completely and utterly dead. Completely and utterly dead. Completely and utterly dead. Bear market lows. Trash. Bear market lows. Completely and utterly dead. Completely and utterly dead at the all-time high. Okay? From the all-time high to the buying climax, there was a significant rally out of others for sure. For sure, that was a great rally, and you're going to feel pumped about that. That's a 2.7x for sure. But again, it wasn't until the buying climax to the UTAD that was the whole run. So why do I keep talking non-stop like a broken record about the Russell? Because it's the most important part of the it's the most important thing. And we are on the cusp. And we have been following this candle for candle. Day by day. We called this pullback. Over here, we called a pullback. We said we could go to 230 and that would be fine. 230 would be fine. But we said the pivot would be around the 7th. And if we were following this by about the 15th, we should have a clean breakout. That's what we have. This is an all-time high for real. This is now confirmed price discovery, in my opinion. This is the thing that has not happened. You're like, it's different this time. This is the thing that has happened in 2017 and 2021 that has not happened yet. The Russell going into price discovery has not happened yet. We are here. I don't want to FOMO anyone, but this is the element that I've been talking about for months and for years. That is the most important thing that has not taken place yet. That is currently, presently, right now, taking place. Can you check render? I got you. Buy Solnic coin. Solnic is my number one 100x play. Been putting in higher highs and higher lows. Quietly accumulating. Quietly waking up as quietly 11% of the total supply that will ever exist is staked and locked up. And that number keeps growing by the day. Dr. Disrespect. I still have all of my Dr. Disrespect. And that too has been waking up. I never sold any of my dis. And that has been... I think it's up like 400% this week or something. I didn't do anything about that. I've been buying a little bit here and there, but you know, it's up a good bit this week. All right, let's get into your guys' questions, comments, concerns. My man, I don't know how much that is, but it's red, and I appreciate it no matter what color it is. Thank you for the 139.99 CAD. You savage, brother. I appreciate you. I don't know how much that is, but I thank you for your support.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Ski silver is rip. Yeah, silver is ripping. It is in full-on pandemonia. Again, big bearish divergences are taking place, though. This is what a top looks like. Now, I don't know what day it's going to be or what the exact number is. My prediction was 78. My second prediction is 107. Maybe we get 107. That's on the board. But when you look at gold, this is a real deal. This is what distribution looks like. This is a topping structure. And it's even more when you see... This is a massive bearish divergence on gold. You can see the buying climax, price is rising, RSI is going down, volume is going down. That is a massive, massive, massive bearish divergence on gold. The same thing is taking place on silver. It gets wild and chaotic at the end. Can it go to $100? Sure, for silver. Can gold go to 4,700? Sure. But I'm telling you, that is a topping structure. Were you able to trade Solnic on Coinbase? I still can't. Some people can. I am not able to yet, but for some people, and I think what's happening is Coinbase is just rolling it out slowly for some users, but some people are able to buy Solnic directly on Coinbase wallet. I know for sure you can buy it on Base, and it's the same one. Like, so the base supply on Coinbase, just so everyone's tracking, is my tokens that I burned and bridged into Base. So it's the same tokens. It's not like any more tokens were created. It's just bridge to base. So I took about 5 million of my coins and I bridged it to base so that people could have liquidity pools to be able to buy it. So you for sure can buy it on base. Some people are able to buy it on Solana, but it is available on Coinbase one way or the other. Says, Ski, your morning trade session calls have literally been saving my life so far. I cannot express enough what they've been doing for me. The gratitude is immense. I appreciate that, brother. I've had, an okay, week. Decent. I had a bad couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago. It happens. It's part of the process. But, I appreciate that. And the whole point is to learn and grow and to continue to get better and iron sharpening iron. And be process and system based. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. Dano tells me 139 CAD is $100. So my God, brother, I appreciate you, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
You are a warrior of God. I certainly am. Can you please? Yeah, all right. We'll look at. Will we see last December highs? We will see beyond that at some point. All right, let's check out Flux and Render. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share so other people can spam the like button. Thoughts on Dynex? Dynex has been doing very well. We'll quickly look at Dynex because it's here. And then we'll look at Render. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button. Hitting that share so other people can spam the like button. Repost it if you're watching on TikTok. Yeah, Dynex has quietly been performing very well. One of the few coins, because it was accumulating that whole time in April and it didn't really do any crazy moves, it actually didn't even take out the lows, right? It actually did not even take out the lows. So what we've done is broken above the 200 and back tested. I'm looking on the daily chart. We have across to the upside, still some work to do on the daily, but on the 5-hour chart, this is full bullish posture. This is a break and a full bullish break. And again, even when you look at this break over here, we didn't flip completely bullish. So this chart looks really good and it's held up really well to me. All right, let's check out Render. They will be delisting on Dynex. Who's delisting on Dynex? Render lost that whole support. I don't love that happened. I thought we had a nice base over here. I thought we had a great thing going on over here. So, continuing, we never broke above the 200 on the daily. You can see we tested it. We never broke above it. Right now we're testing it again. This seems like a decent place to bottom because this is literally the 2022 bottom here. But this is a full cycle here. Like a lot of coins look like this. Silver looked like this before it broke out. We've talked about this a lot. You have your markdown, your selling climax, accumulation, sign of strength, back test, move higher, back test again. And then you break out. You go into price discovery here. Distribution. This is the end of distribution. I would say that this is your LPS here. and then this is just kind of your gruel down. So this might be your selling climax. I would have to see, like, what is a bit of a bullish divergence here. So, like, price is going down, RSI is going up. So maybe that's your selling climax. Let's see what the 5 hour. The 5 hour looks good. The 5 hour looks really good. Broken above. Full bullish posture. We'll probably backtest the 200, $1.60. Yeah, this is really red hot here. It wouldn't be weird to backtest the 200, but that is the full bullish break. And it has not been in bullish posture like that since over here back in November of 2024. So it hasn't been full bullish posture like that since November of 2024. So maybe this is your selling climax, the beginning of accumulation. I don't expect a V bottom out of here, but there's been no point when we've broken above the 200. If we can get above the daily 200, $2.85 and hold it, to me, that's a really good sign. I still like render. I like the macro structure. Like, you have a full cycle of accumulation, your parabolic rise, your distribution. Like, that's a clean thing to chart. It went lower than I expected, but I think the retrace is still about $8. And then price discovery is about $22 to $34. I do think that this will get into price discovery again because it has the history. It did it this time. Lots of trading at the 1618. So I would honor the 1618 as like price discovery. Most likely we're going to retrace to $8. Price discovery is about $22, $21. Those are probably the highest probability. This is probably your selling climax. Depending on how the rest of the market goes, it's going to look something like this. Or you could get, some accumulation in here before you, do something like that. That would be more textbook. But I think that this is a decent probability that the bottom is already in for render. What about Solnic? Solnic is looking beautiful. Higher highs, higher lows. One of the coins that's been performing very well over the last few days. We were just at 1 million. We're at, I think, 1.7 million. 11% of the entire total supply that will ever exist is locked up. The roadmap, we're working on the roadmap. We're working on building some really cool projects on Solnic. I have been buying every single week. My plan is once I move to the farm to spend 50% of all that I make on buying, DCAing Solnic. But right now, here is the roadmap for into 2026. We're going to start filming we're going to finish filming the documentary in stage 1, which is going to be in early spring. Stage 2 is we're going to roll out the stable coins, which 20% of that is going to be reserved by Solnic. Translation: as the market cap of the stable coin goes up, so too the market cap of Solnic coin will go up as well. We're working on our version of Radium or Jupiter. You're going to be able to swap on there, buy coins, sell coins, liquidity mine, yield mine, all of that stuff. Staking is already live. DeFi, that's stage 4. Stage 5 is Solnic's version of Polymarket. Stage 6, you will be able to buy Solnic on Apple Pay, Google Pay. You can buy Solnic on Coinbase right now as we speak. So we're already working on stage 7 with some small and large exchanges listings, and we're going to bridge to other chains such as Polygon, HBAR, XRP, but you can already buy Solnic on Coinbase right now. So that's a big thing. And again, 11% of the total supply that can ever exist is staked on Solnic or staking.solniccoin.io right now. You can earn 30% on your Solnic, and that number keeps going up. It's economics 101. Price equals supply plus demand. The supply keeps getting locked away for 90 days, 180 days, 365 days, or 720 days, this number keeps going up day by day, and eventually there will become a supply squeeze on Solnic coin. When you look at the chart, it is looking very, very good, and it is accumulating very well. Now, really, I need to look at, I'm going to do it on DEX tools. I know that TikTok doesn't like DEX tools, but there was a big wick foreshadowing of $8.88, and it kind of messes up the whole entire moving averages. But you can see we have held the November lows. You have your spring over here. We've been just chopping here. This is the selling climax. You can see high amounts of volume. We tested the 200, got rejected, tested the 200, got rejected, and we have finally broken above the 200 moving average. We are in the most bullish posture. Literally every single candle is in the most bullish posture. We have not been in that posture on the 4-hour chart for Solnic since over here. The last time we flipped was back in September of 2024, before we went to 10 million. Actually, I think we went to 5 million from 400K. I don't remember. But we flipped the same posture and we went on an 8x run. Yes, this was to $10 million market cap. So this is the first time that we have been in this posture. As you can see, all the way down, we have not flipped in this posture since September of 2024, before we broke out on our run to $10 million market cap. So big things for Solnic. Really excited. I don't know how long it's going to take, but day by day, brick by brick, we are going to build it. And like, how many people did this, 2 years ago? It's been 2 years, and I'm still developing, still buying my own supply. It doesn't exist. 2 years later, still holding the floor, still climbing, still, when you zoom in, you can see higher highs, higher lows. Let's look at the 1 hour chart here. You can see it very clearly. Higher highs, higher lows. Good accumulation here. So like 2 years later, it doesn't exist. Still. And you can buy it on Coinbase now. DIS and Solnic on Coinbase. You can buy them both. All right. So that's the thoughts on Solnic. And I'm really excited for what we're going to be bringing. Because we're going to be bringing that heat. All right. Let's go back to, someone asked me about Flux. And then we'll look at Sui. What is this? Yeah, I think that this is the spring in 10. I talked a lot about that. 1010. We had a big move to the 200, got rejected. We're accumulating here. When we look on the 5-hour chart, which I like the 5-hour chart, you can see all the moving averages are getting very coiled up. And quietly, we're just below the 200. We got to get above the 200, about 10.8 cents. But you can see the red has already crossed, the yellow has already crossed, and the blue is right there. So these are super coiled up, ready to flip bullish. And I think that we'll probably test this over here at 30 cents if we can flip this bullish. This is a decent bit of accumulation that's been taking place since back in April of 2025. And I think that this is the spring. So I like this structure. I thought that, this was going to hold here, and it didn't. But all that means is, realistically, the lower you go, the higher you bounce. That's what that means. Whoops. Oh yeah, I already got this. So the retracement is $2.45, as high as $3.50. Those are the retracement levels, and then parabolic is somewhere between $8, as high as $18. That's the setup for Flux at this point. It could get as high as $18, which would be pretty crazy. Chills is bullish. If you can look, please. I got you. Oh, my camera's dead. You guys didn't tell me. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. It says Dynex will be converted to security tokens. Listen, you can't buy Monero anywhere, and that thing just ripped. Obviously, that's not, awesome, but we'll see what it does. I like the chart. We'll see how it plays out. All right, we'll look at Chills, and then we'll look at Dot. How long has my camera been out? Make sure you guys are hitting that repost button. Share this live. Spam that like button. We're at 23,000 likes. Let's get this to 50,000. Yeah, this is waking up for sure. On the daily chart, this looks like a spring. And this is a daily too. This is about to flip completely bullish. Well, I don't want to say completely bullish, but flirting. We're on top of the 200. The 20 has crossed the 200, the 100, and the 50. The 50 has crossed the 100. It's about to cross the 200. And then the last thing is the 100 crossing the 50. So you could get a back test. This looks like a confirmed spring, though. And it's a higher high. This looks really good, I would say. Now, it's been on a downtrend, too, at the same time that it's been accumulating this pretty much since back in, 2022. It really has been accumulating that whole time. And it hasn't been able to break this downtrend pretty much, the whole time here. Really, this goes back over here, but, you could say really haven't been able to break it. I mean, obviously you broke it over here, but that's been a downtrend the whole time. So maybe if I were to pull this out here, actually, let's do it like this. So about $800 million market cap. That's going to be the big level to say, hey, this is fully broken at this point in a good way, broken out of this downtrend. And when you have a long period of accumulation and a huge wedge like that, that's a good thing. I wonder, is the so we're testing the 3-day 200 because this almost feels like a bigger time frame. See, yeah, the weekly 200 is up here, and we've been below the weekly 200 pretty much the whole time in existence. So it's starting to wake up on the weekly as well. It's going to have some work to do. I imagine there's going to be resistance at 700 million for sure. That's the weekly 200. But if you can break that, I think that this could have this is a decent setup for sure. For sure. All right, let's check out Dot. How's my audio, by the way? I know when me and Alex were live, we were having issues with it breaking out. Are we having those issues? Copper's breaking out. Yeah, precious metals. So copper breaking out to me is what I've been talking about. That's a sign of like precious metals are already in the alt season, right? What does that mean? It's like gold is Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes first. Then you rotate into the altcoins. Silver broke out. Now copper is breaking out. It's like precious metals are having an alt season right now. And when is the alt season happening? At the end of the run. And so what we're going to see is, I don't know if it's going to be today, tomorrow, next week, next month, but very soon, that is going to be done and we're going to rotate. Your sweet, sweet voice sounds delightful. Thanks, bro. All right. Same like pre-setup as chills. Like this to me still could be your spring. Let's go on the daily here. Got some work to do on the daily. We got to get above the $205.3 billion market cap. We're headed in the right direction. We're about to get our first cross. But again, we're going to find resistance at 4.1 billion. We'll find resistance at 5.3. And then ultimately, this is going to be the big one, 6 billion. There's a lot, like this was support. This is going to be resistance as well. So it's going to be a battle. But I think that you could classify this as the spring. You could say that this is your selling climax, your secondary test. This is your spring. And what we want to see is us to cleanly take back $6 billion market cap. If we can do that, I think we're going to get a retrace about $36 billion market cap easy. And we could go easily into price discovery. But I would still, take your profits at your retraces for sure. That's about, that's a 10x. It's headed in the right direction. We still got some work to do. Let's see how we're looking on the 5-hour chart. See, the 5-hour looks really good. It's about to flip. It literally has already flipped bullish here. It looks like we're back testing the 200. Pretty common. But like, let's go back. Like, I want you to see this posture where the 200 is on bottom, then the 100, then the 50, then the 20, which is so the most bullish posture looks like this. Red on top of yellow for me. It's 20 on top of 50, on top of 100, on top of 200. That's the most bullish posture. Okay, when you look, we have not been in that posture on the 5-hour chart for a long time. Since all the way over here back in October of 2023. Let me make sure I got that right. Was the last time we flipped from bullish or from bearish to bullish. So that's a very strong early. Well, no, that's a lie. The last time we flipped from bearish to bullish, was November of 2024. So early sign. Still got some work to do. And I wonder, I'm curious here. So same thing. Like you can see the 20 flips the 100, the 50 flips the 100, like the full flipping happened right here, and then it took off. But I'm curious to see like where was the daily chart in November. Same thing, right? It was accumulation, and you just rip right past the 200. So maybe that's what happens again. Maybe we get up to the 200 and just rip right past it. That's what happened over here. And we had a higher high. So we'll see. It has history of doing that. But this is a good setup here that has not taken place since back in November of 2024. So we'll see. Rose could have put a spring into it, made a lower low than 1010 wick. It filled. Are you saying it filled it out? Let's look at the market cap and then let's look at the price. Yeah, it pretty much has filled out this wick. I'm curious to see market cap too. Yeah. So you had the wick, you came up and you pretty much filled that out. Same thing. 5-hour chart is starting to posture itself up. But that's pretty much what that is. It went a little bit, it went slightly lower, yes. But this is pretty much, yeah, pretty much the same thing there. I agree. Link, please. Link, I love links. I made a video about Link recently. Link has the same setup as Silver did. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm really not trying to be hyperbolic. Was it Link that I used? Yes, look at this. This fractal right here is Silver. That is from Silver. Parabolic rise, distribution. This white line right here is Silver. This is Silver. I just made a video on Link. You can watch the full breakdown on my TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. But this fractal that I'm holding, that is the Silver chart. This is like from back in 2011 all the way through. Parabolic rise, distribution, markdown, accumulation. You even have the same spring here. Sign of strength. Now, silver is a commodity and it's not as volatile. So this whole time it was just chopping at the sign of strength, where Link had more violent moves. But to me, this is the exact same setup as the markup. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this would have us going north of $78 if it were to follow. Even a retrace to me is $38. I love Link. Is one of my favorite blue chip plays for sure. Still holding Solnic strong. Solnic is looking good, putting in higher highs, accumulating. 11% of the supply is locked and staked. You can buy Solnic on Coinbase now. Not breaking up, but it's quiet. Test. I can't even see. Is that better? It's not even showing me now. I need to restart my computer. DRB on base. Is it on TradingView? I'll try. How much Solnic do I need to be a whale? 5 million? Is this the chart? This is hot, bro. I would consider it's Grok's coin. Okay, so we don't have a lot of history with the 200. So I don't know what this would have been. But this is the same level of resistance that it's gotten rejected 3 times now, or twice. And when you look on the daily, this is pretty hot. I would consider taking profit on this coin. Wait. Oh. I would consider de-risking a bit. This is probably already at the retrace. But this does look strong. But also, like, just being cautious here. This is the same place, basically, that it's gotten rejected a couple of times. It does look like there's a decent chance it's going to break out, but I would still be on the cautionary side. If it's going to go into price discovery and break above this high here, you're looking at about 0.0065, which is about a 2x from here. Sound is clear. Okay, thank you. This looks strong and it looks hot. So, like, I think that it probably will break above this, but it could still get rejected and reaccumulate. And, like, you know, you could be, you know, having something like that. Solnick is going to do a white whale run. Take that to the bank 100% and beyond. And beyond. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, guys. Let's get this stream to 50,000 likes. Hit that repost so other people can spam the like button. AVAX looks really good. I feel like a lot of the legacy coins, your ADA, Link, AVAX, they all have like what silver looks like. Right? Let's just do this. Like, and I made a video with Link, but you can represent any of the legacy coins. Like, it doesn't really matter. They all have the same deal going on. They all have the same structure. And again, I don't know how long it's going to take to play out. It could take a week. It could take, a month. I don't know how long it's going to take to play out. The same way I didn't know how long it was going to take for silver to break out. But I knew that silver was going to break out. Right? I knew that silver was going to break out. This is the same chart here. Look at that. AVAX. This is the same thing. All right. The only difference is crypto's volatile at the sign of strength here. This big move here is the same move. Crypto's more volatile where silver was more choppy. But this is the setup for what's called a markup. That is the same setup. Tell me that that is not the same chart. I have ADA up here, but you could replace it with Link. You could replace it with a lot of coins. That's what the markup looks like before it happens. And again, I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month. I don't know. But that's the next phase. AVAX, the same. The same thing. Do you like Dent? Is it dead? No, I like Dent. I think Dent... I haven't looked at Dent in a little while. Yeah, we lost. Like, this to me is a spring. We got to reclaim this. We got to reclaim 0.006 to confirm this as a spring, but that's a lot of volume that came in over here. Look at this volume on the daily chart. That tells me that there's real smoke to that. When the last time we had the volume was over here. That's a lot of volume. The highest amount of volume that's been since December of 2023. A lot of volume came in over here. It's got some work to do. We got to reclaim all this. But we're battling right now as well. So we aren't in a bear market. We're not in a bear market the way you think we're in a bear market. Like, if all of 2025 was nothing that we expected, why do you think 2026 will be what everyone expects? It's not. It's not. It will not be what everyone expects. Everyone expects we're going to go down till October. We're going to make new lows. It's not happening. If all of 2025 was not what we expected, what makes us think that 2026 is going to be what we expected? It's not. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Not you. The question you asked was, so we aren't in a bear market. The answer, the words that came out of my mouth was, not in the way that you expect. If all of 2025 was not what everyone expected, why do you think that 2026 will be what everyone expects is new lows, Bitcoin goes to 50K. We're going to keep going down until October. That's what everyone expects. Let me know how that works. We will find out in October. But what I know about Bitcoin for sure, I don't know a lot, but what I know for sure, this is the highest volume, November 20th. We have not went any lower for a second. The highest amount of volume that we've had in 13 months. I know that for sure. I know for sure Bitcoin has not been above the 200 in this bullish posture since April of 2025. Was the last time Bitcoin was on a downtrend. Rejection the whole way down. Big move up to the 200. Rejection all the way down. Big move up to the 200. Rejection. Break above the 200. Back test it. Break above the 200. Back test it. And then the red flips the 200. The yellow flips the 200. The light blue flips the 200 and you break out. Okay, let's see. We have not had that posture since April of 2025. What do we have? The red is on top. The yellow is on top. The blue is on top. Are we going to make new lows? Sure, maybe. But we haven't had that posture since April of 2025, after the tariff crash, after the bottom was already in. The fourth isn't different. The fourth did not look. I need you to understand. Look, when was the fourth? When did the fourth cross? After it already broke out. You're holding on by a whim. Show me another time when it was even close. It was never close. It was never close. There's no other example where it was even close. There's no other example where it was even close. Let's find another example where we flip from bearish to bullish. Let's see. 200's on top. Then we're in bearish posture here back in September of 2024. It already broke out by the time it flipped because they're lagging indicators. Okay, so let's see. Bearish posture, bearish posture, bearish posture. Let's see. When did it flip bullish? I guess it flipped bullish here. Sure. Are you okay with a $59,000 Bitcoin before it goes to 126? I would say so. What was the bottom? 49K? So we flip bullish right here. Red on top of yellow, on top of light blue, breakout, back test, back test. We never went below it again. We never went below it again when it flipped. The red was on top. What happened? You're saying we're here. Okay, sure. Are we going to backtest the 200 two more times? Sure. We never went below it again. This doesn't happen every day. Everyone thinks we're going lower. Everyone thinks, see you in October. All right, we'll see. Can we test the 200? Sure. It's at $89,000, 500, 89,500. Can we test it? Sure. Sure, we surely can. How about over here? When was the time before that? What did it look like? When you flip from bearish, blue on top of light blue, on top of yellow, on top of red, that is the most bearish posture. Bitcoin was at $38,000. And then what happened? The red flips, and that was it. Okay, so not a great example. It just broke out bullish posture. By the time the yellow, it was already pretty much gone. By the time the light blue crossed, it was already gone. By the time the light blue crossed, we went from 38K all the way up to $50,000. But when was the last time we actually were bearish, where we were on a downtrend the whole time and flipped? Before that, September of 2023. Red crosses. Rejection. Breakout. Rejection. Yellow crosses. Light blue crosses. Right here. Red on top of yellow on top of light blue. Bitcoin goes from 26K to 28K. Back test the 200. Never goes below it again. Breakout. Like, can we backtest the 200? Sure, we can do it. We probably will. But I'm telling you, this is a setup from flipping from bearish to bullish. Can we test the 200? We certainly can. But this is a setup. This is the exact same setup as flipping from bearish, flipping from bearish, flipping from bearish, flipping from bearish to bullish. Too bullish. Too bullish. Too bullish. You can see all bearish. We have flipped. I'm in a short from 122. Okay, great, bro. I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped. The selling climax was 80K. Can we get it? We're not going lower. I'm telling you now, we are not going below 70K. We will be lucky to get to 75K. We're going to be lucky to get that. There's a decent chance, though, that that was it. People talk their bags is what happens. Is like how did I know he was short? How did I know he was short? People talk their bags. They have the opinion of what they're doing. My man is shorting the market. So is he bullish or bearish? He's bearish. What about the CME gap that needs to be filled? Which one? The 3K one? People talk their bags. We can 88 is on the board for sure. 88's on the board. Like, what's happened every single... Okay, so listen. What is happening right now, for sure? We have been in a bearish posture since September. We have flipped bullish. Okay, all the times that happened, here is the outcome. Breakout. That's 1, breakout. That's 2. In this scenario, though, when you flip bullish, you back tested the 200 twice. It back tested the 200. My light just died. So the 200 is at 88K or 89,500. You could definitely go a little bit below it. Sure. 88 is on the board for sure. Same thing over here. When you flip from bearish to bullish, you can see we back tested the 200 2 times, breakout. That is on the board for sure. Testing the 200 is on the board. Same thing. Well, really, now when we flipped here, we just broke out. We never really touched it again. Look at Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, bro, it's in distribution. Bro, you're talking your bag is what you're doing. You think this looks strong? You think that looks strong? This is distribution. Buying climax, upthrust, UTAD. Major bearish divergence. Buying climax. UTAD, the RSI was way lower. Big plunge down, up to the 200, rejection, up to the 200, rejection, up to the 200, rejection. If this takes out 58.4, this is going to fall off a cliff. This is an LPS. I don't care what way it goes. You are speaking your bags. You're not speaking facts. I'm speaking facts. I'm telling you. Here's the facts. Here's the times that it's done this. Was in April, the same posture. September of 24. October of 23. January of 23. Those are the last 4 or 5 times that Bitcoin's done this. Those are facts. So does that mean it's going to do it this time? No. But that's what it's done every time from the last times it's done this. When alt season, when the Russell goes into price discovery, the Russell is at an all-time high right now. Right now, today, right now, today, right now, today. What has happened? What has not taken place that has taken place in 2017 and has taken place in 2021? The Russell went into price discovery and into distribution. That did not take place in 2025. What is the Russell doing? Candle for candle. Breaking out into price discovery. The same exact setup. Full bullish posture. Red on top of yellow, on top of light blue, on top of blue. Daily chart, full bullish posture. Red on top of yellow, on top of light blue, on top of blue. New all-time high. Win all season when we go into price discovery and distribution. Yeah, crypto's about to crash. That's what everyone thinks. Retail's always right. Retail thinks that Bitcoin and altcoins are going to dump. It's going to just crash until October. That's what all of retail is telling me. They're always right. Retail's always right. They're never wrong. Retail's always on the right side. They're never on the wrong side. People talk their bags. People talk their badge. They have capitulated and they're shorting the market. What do we do for a relief rally? Minimum. Yeah, bro. Bitcoin Dominance confirms we're bullish. Bitcoin Dominance looks weak as hell. The Russell looks strong as hell. Bitcoin has flipped bullish. Like, okay, we'll see. Sure. All the retail is right. Liquidity comes from another asset hitting distribution. 100%. Listen, here's what happened. We've done this once. We've done it 100 times. I'll do it 101 times. You guys need to pay attention to the Russell. The Russell is the market. What does the Russell signify? It signals risk on assets. What is the most risk on asset in the world? Cryptocurrency. If you're not paying attention to the Russell, you are wrong. Period. The Russell tells you what's happening. Here is the all-time high in 2021. Or excuse me, November of 20. So August of 20, gold tops. The Russell is low. Crypto is dead. Let's do this. I have it marked right here. This is gold's top. Gold tops. Then the Russell breaks out. Then the Russell goes into price discovery. Then the Russell goes into distribution. Then crypto picks up like crazy. Let's show the total 3, which represents all the altcoins outside of Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is what everyone cares about. Gold top. You can see, if you look at the price, look at the line, they scroll together on the same date. Gold tops, August of 20. Look at the total 3. Bear market lows, dead. Okay? The Russell hits an all-time high. Bear market lows, dead. Now, from all-time high till price discovery, buying climax, the total 3 went on a rally. It was a nice rally. It was about a 2x. Oops. About a 2x. You can see the rally from the all-time high to the buying climax. Now, the distribution, like my man said, he said it correctly. Who said that? Liquidity comes from other assets hitting distribution. Ding, 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 ding. Verifiable. I'm about to show you. That is verifiable. Distribution. This is distribution right here. Let's show you Wyckoff distribution. This is textbook, and I'm going to show you. That's distribution. You don't need to be a distribution Wyckoff nerd like me. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show it to you one time for the one time so you can see. That's literally textbook distribution. My God, get out of here, bro. All right, I'm going to save the picture. All right, here we go. Look at this. This is textbook distribution. You have a buying climax. That's the climax of buying. Most of the time, the volume is the highest and the RSI is the highest. Then you have a UT. It goes higher, textbook, than the buying climax. Sometimes you get a UTAD, which goes higher. In my opinion, that's what gold is working on right now. It goes higher than the upthrust. This is a topping structure. Okay? Now, look at the Russell. This is 2021. Buying climax. UT. UTAD. All right, this is distribution. Who said it? Hyper or Herb? I'm just going to call you Herb. He said it best. Liquidity comes from another asset hitting distribution. If you guys are not paying attention to the Russell, you are wrong. You are wrong. I don't care about Bitcoin dominance. I care about Bitcoin dominance. I don't care about Tether dominance. I care about Tether dominance. But this is above all as far as investing. As far as investing into cryptocurrency. The Russell is the most important. It is above Bitcoin dominance. It's above Bitcoin. It's above Tether dominance. It's above all of that. The Russell is the most important. All right, this is textbook distribution. One more time, I will show you textbook distribution. Here is the Russell in 2021. All right, now, again, this is your UTAD right here. Let's look at this. From the buying climax, you can see, I have it circled. Right here is the buying climax. It's circled the same date. From the buying climax, aka the beginning of distribution, to the UTAD, aka the end of distribution from the Russell. These are the exact same dates. That was the entire rally. The beginning of distribution of the Russell, the end of distribution of the Russell was the literal top of the cryptocurrency market. If you are not paying attention to the Russell, you are incorrect. Now, I've been saying this has been following candle for candle. If you watch my videos, I told you that we were going to pull back and we were going to pivot on the 7th. If I am correct that we are following this from 2021, we are going to make an all-time high by the 15th on the Russell. And that would confirm that we are going into price discovery. Look at what happened, ladies and gentlemen. We are breaking out into price discovery, the thing that has not happened. What is different this time? That has not taken place. It took place in 2017. It took place in 2021. It has not happened yet, but it is happening now. And everyone is going to be caught wrong-footed. Now, from the all-time high to the buying climax, crypto rallied. Bitcoin was very strong during this time, but it really only did a little bit. But again, the distribution of the Russell was the entire run. That was the entire run. Literal centuries. Wyckoff has proven to work for literal centuries. 100%. Do you see gold crashing in the next 18 months? 18 months, brother. 18 weeks. I already sold 40% of my gold and I sold 70% of my silver. I love silver. I love, genuinely, honest to God, silver is my favorite asset to buy. I have real estate, I have crypto, I have stocks, I have land. On everything, silver is my favorite asset to buy. I love it. I love it. It's like a hobby of mine. I sold 70% of my silver at $78. 18 months, 18 weeks, 18 days. All right, let's go back. What does a top look like? You have a buying climax. The RSI is often the highest here. It is the climax of buying. The volume is often the highest here. And then what do you get? You get what is called a bearish divergence. Okay, what is a bearish divergence? Price goes higher. RSI goes lower. Volume goes down. Let's check out gold. I already named this as the buying climax. The buying climax. By the way, look at how hot that is. On the monthly chart, the hottest the RSI has been since 1979. I have the tweet. I'm selling 40% of my gold. I called it as the buying climax. I literally said we will probably get a UTAD to $4,700. This is a major bearish divergence that is taking place. Buying climax on the daily chart. move higher. This was 4,400. This is 4,500. RSI went from 92 to 82. Comes back, goes even higher. RSI is lower. This is a major bearish divergence. This is Wyckoff distribution. That is a topping structure. I have sold 40% of my gold. I have sold 70% of my silver, and it's my favorite asset to buy. My average price on gold is like $1,500. My average price on silver is $20. I am out. I have sold my precious metals. Silver might go to 107, maybe. This is a major bearish divergence too. Look at the buying climax here. You're seeing copper ripping. What is that? That is an alt season. What does alt season for precious metals mean? What does an alt season mean? It means the end is near. 18 months, 18 weeks, 18 days. Look at this, same thing. This is a major bearish divergence. Price is high, pulls back. RSI is lower, price is way higher. Also, this is Wyckoff distribution and accumulation on silver. Parabolic rise, mark down, accumulation, spring, sign of strength, back test, accumulation, mark up. That is Wyckoff. Gold and metals will be gold and metals are distributing presently right now. That is a major bearish divergence. Silver has not been this hot since 1979. Gold has not been this hot since 1979. They are presently distributing right now. When you see copper ripping, that tells you what's happening. That is distribution. Why is copper ripping? Because gold is distributing. And silver. Let's look at silver. This is, Herb said it best. I'm going to say it one more time. It is the theme of the night. It is the theme of the night. Liquidity comes from another asset hitting distribution. Preach the gospel. Let's look at gold and let's compare it to silver. On the top is silver. On the bottom is gold. I said in October that this was the buying climax. I am selling 40% of my gold at $4,400. I said full well, we will probably go to $4,700 in a UTAD because gold is not a meme coin. It's not going to get a pin blow off top. It's going to get proper institutional distribution. All right. We have the same dates right here. Let's line her up. On the top is silver. On the bottom is gold. Gold is barely higher than the buying climax. It was at $4,400. It got to $4,600. It is $200 more. Silver, on the contrary, went from $50 at the buying climax. It was at $50, pulls back with gold, and is now at $85. That is distribution from gold into silver. And now we're seeing copper ripping because we're seeing distribution of silver into copper. What's left? Do you think it will run harder since it's taking longer to get here? Possibly, sure. Like 107 would be maximum craziness, and I think that that's possible. And I actually think that silver is going to go to $200 in like 2028, 2029. I think it's going to go north of $200, but I think it's first going to go back to $50. How do you sell silver coins? The same way you buy them, with the coin shop. Or the same way I buy them. So what we buy now. Okay, well, what happened in 2021? In August of 20, gold tops. November of 2020, the Russell breaks out. Price discovery was February of 2021. Buying climax of the Russell. You tell me what happened from February of 2021 through November of 2021. Distribution of the Russell equals. I sold 70% of my silver and I sold 40% of my gold. I'm probably going to sell some more gold. Yeah, why are they marking you down 15, 20% from spot? What up, blood? How low can silver and gold go before the next top? I think gold might just chop sideways. Like, I don't expect gold to do crazy numbers down. Like, maybe we get back into the 35s, but probably not, honestly. Maybe like it's just probably just going to chop for gold, like maybe 38, 4K. But I think silver goes back to $50. All right, guys. It's been a good stream. Are you guys pumped? I appreciate you guys. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this time. I'll be live tomorrow. Probably 4:30. 4:30. My live window is between 4:30 and 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. I was late today. I'm late every day. That's going to be it for this time, though. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. I will never message you first. Those are scammers. For the love of God, do not get scammed. I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to ask you how the hell your trading's going. That's not me. That's going to be it for this time.